What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Quadcast, the show where we get real, get raw, and get loud about mental health, substance use, and the fight to take our lives back.
Each episode, we're cutting through the stigma, dropping knowledge, sharing stories, and bringing the heat with guests who have lived it and aren't afraid to talk about it.
So turn it up, lock in, and let's break barriers, spark change, and build a community that refuses to stay silent. You're tuned into the Quadcast, and let's get into it.
You can find us on Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, or email us. The Quadcast is always looking for new guests, whether you're individuals that have experienced it, you're in law enforcement, treatment programs, nurses, doctors, or anyone that just has something to say. Come share your story with us on mental health or substance abuse.
Warning, there's cussing in this video. If you don't like swear words, well, you're
watching the wrong damn show.
Is this the Fynix pod? Is that where the podcasts?
So that's where all podcasts that I've been on previous, that's where they go. So I like going on to podcasts and talking about my story because I feel that I need to lead from the front. If I preach about, people need to be open and honest about their mental health and they need to be able to talk about it. If I can't do that, I cannot shout about it. Do you know what I mean? I can't push people to do it.
And then what's the Fynix verse?
So I write a lot of music.
Okay. We talked about this through text there.
Yes. So I've wrote music for years, but I've never really done anything with it. With the advancements, shall we say, of AI, because I can't sing. I can write, but I cannot sing. So with the advancements of AI, any songs that I write, and all my songs are sort of based around mental health as well, because there's some people that will not talk to someone else when they're feeling low, but they could be sitting in a car at 2:00 in the morning and just listen to a song and get it to resonate with them, and that helps them in any way, shape, or form. So I write the music. I'll write it all out. I'll do it in order. Your verses, your bridge, your chorus, etc. Your intro, outro. I'll get all the lyrics done. I'll use Suno, and I'll say what instruments I want where, what type of lyrics I want where, and stuff like that. So I'll prompt it to do everything in the arrangement that I want, and then it will generate that song for me. So I've got the commercial rights for them. Through that, so they are now available on Amazon Music and Spotify. Okay. They will be on Apple Music soon as well. But it's just something. It's another way for me to get through to people and realize that, again, they're not alone. They're not the only ones feeling this way. And it's just, again, it's another way for me to try and help.
Sure. I like it. I like the website. And
I can't take credit for the website. I did not do that at all.
Well, you can't take credit for everything.
No. I can't. We've got a marketing and a web whiz that she's come in and said, I can help you build another website. You can fix your website, do your marketing. I said, by all means, you can do that. That's fine. And she's been absolutely fantastic.
Well, while we're here, I found your books here on the website. Yeah. Do you want to talk about each one of those while we're
so that was the first one that I done. So again, with the writing aspect, and I've always loved poetry. So we've got poems in regards to homelessness, mental health, addiction, prison release, because they're my four main things that I'm passionate about. So there's 60 poems in total. I have wrote 54 of them, or no, 56 of them I've wrote. I got two from a man called David Breakspear, who himself had spent roughly about half of his life in prison. But now he works for a charity and he works helping with prison reform. He's went to speak at Parliament a few times. So he kindly sent me over a couple of poems when I was doing this. And a friend of mine, Sky, she's obviously suffered with like mental health as well, etc. in the past. And she's kindly sent me over too. So they're named, they know which ones are which. So they've sent me over too as well. But this is just go on.
You mentioned that you were passionate about prison release.
Yes.
What is the story like? Where does your passion come from that?
So I mean, my passion from that is I've seen people working in the homeless hostel. I've seen people come out of prison and, they're not able to get a job and they're not able to get housing. So it's a vicious circle. If they're not able to get the stability and the foundations to build their life on, they're going to revert back and do the same things that they have done in the past. And then they're going to keep constantly going through that system. And there is times where people will do things when they've fallen on hard times, and they don't need to be judged for the rest of their life for that. Sure. Because we've all done things that maybe we're not proud of when we've fallen on hard times. Sometimes it's what people have to do to survive. And I don't think it's fair for people to be judged for the rest of their lives for that. So that's my thoughts on it.
I'm glad you said it like that, because I've had that conversation with several people over the last probably month of just being able to rehabilitate individuals who are coming out of prison to circulate back into civilian world. And they don't have that. I mean, we don't have that here. No. They classify, you get a felony here. They don't classify it any differently if you get a DUI and have a felony or murder somebody and have a felony. And employers don't look at the difference. They don't look at they don't go through and look at that charge. They just see a felony and they're like, nope, this guy can't have this job. You can't have this job because you have a felony. And they don't care about what you did or what you didn't do. They just care that you have a felony, and it hurts people.
Yeah, 100%. And then they feel like they don't have a choice but to go and commit more crimes just to get by. And even if it's, I've seen a guy come into the homeless hostel, and the council wouldn't give him a place in the homeless hostel, and he'd nowhere else to go. And he started, we had a washing machine delivered. He threw that over the counter. He threw the Christmas tree and stuff like that. And, he smashed glass and on all of that. And the staff had to phone the police. And he didn't run away. He sat down and he said, that's absolutely fine. At least I'll get a roof over my head.
Right. And people want a purpose, and people don't want to feel worthless. And when they come out of prison, they get denied jobs. They're looked at a certain way. They feel that way. And, it goes back to, well, I'll just go commit a crime so I have at least a roof over my head and food.
Yeah, exactly. And it's bad. The way people feel that they have to do that to get a roof over their head sometimes, to get food, to get, a place that they can go. I know it's prison, but a place that they can call theirs, because they're not getting any help from the services that are about that should be helping them.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts and feelings on like prison release.
No, I get it. And I relate to that. I was on the law enforcement side for a long time, and I see where law enforcement plays a part in it, but I also see where law enforcement can also hurt it at the same time. Because over here we give everybody a charge and a fine for everything, but when you send people to prison, they can't pay their bills, obviously. So when they get out and go to some of these rehab facilities that we have, they're expected to start paying on their fines.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't allow them to have a job that makes more than minimum wage and to support themselves, pay rent, support a family, pay for a car insurance, pay for a car, if we don't give them a job that they're able to support all of that and pay fines, then they can't jump through those hoops. So it pushes them out of the rehab facilities or pushes them out of the programs because they can't do that. So
I agree. I agree with you that things need to change in regards to that. I don't think it's fair, and I think that causes a lot of issues in regards to. I know that the government's interested in the economy. It causes issues for the economy. It causes issues with the overpopulation in the prisons. It just causes issues in general.
It does. It's a vicious cycle, and you can't just fix one aspect of the problem because that just contributes to another aspect. The whole system as a whole has to be fixed together before you can even begin to fix one thing.
Yeah, no, 100% agree.
So what's this? Is this an actual book?
This is a book. So this is The Architecture of Scars. So I use a lot of my experience, a lot of everything that I've gone through in life. I use that as inspiration for this book. So it sort of runs parallel with my life and what I've been through. It's not a memoir, because I've changed the names for legal reasons. So it's pretty much goes through sort of my life, and it shows like how things can go, but how things can change. So the lighthouse there is quite prominent, because I will call, and I do mention it in the book as well, but I will call, my partner, my daughter, my family, my friends, I will call them my lighthouses, because they help show me the way, and they help brighten things up for me. But yeah, that was a labor of love. That was very cathartic, being able to write the entire thing. And the more you write, the more you realize, oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it gets deep quick.
Yeah, it does. It does. And then this is Still Standing. So I didn't want to be, and I never have wanted to be, with all like technical mumbo jumbo in regards to like how things show up in your body. I didn't want to be fluffy and soft in regards to like mental health. That's the way I deliver my workshops. I'm very, very straight, and I'll talk straight. I won't use any clinical jargon or anything like that. So I wanted to be able to put things that I do in my workshop into a guide, and really just talk through how people can understand their body, how things show up, what techniques to use when, what techniques are good for certain situations, when they won't work for certain situations, and just being completely honest and just talking straight. So that's why I've sort of put that together, and let that out. It's a straight talking guide, because I won't mince my words within it. I won't mince my words when it comes to my workshops. I'm very, very straight, and I talk real life, because at the end of the day, it is real life. It's not meant to be clinical. It's not meant to be fluffy and soft and all of that. It's supposed to be straight talking.
Sure. I think, that's the aspect that we've danced around for so long, is the reality of mental health. We sugarcoat it, we put Band-Aids on it, and we don't address the real aspect of it. So I think that's the lacking portion of there. That's the contributing factor of the stigma around mental health.
Yeah, and I mean, it's when you like, and again, I'm not talking ill of like therapists or psychotherapists or anything like that, but when they talk to someone in that clinical jargon and stuff like that to try and get people to understand, people are not going to connect. There's a huge disconnect when it comes to theory and clinical jargon and talking about it softly. There's a huge disconnect because if you're talking about softly and you sugarcoat something, it's not going to hit them where they are, because at the end of the day, it's not sugar-coated for them. It's not soft and fluffy for them. It's real life, and it's hard, and it's a damn hard struggle. So you need to talk to them on their level, and I don't think there's enough of that.
There's not. We do the mental health checklists for staff and things like that, just so we can say that we do it and we don't actually address
tick box exercise.
Yeah. It's just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So all of these books are available on Amazon.
They are indeed.
Kind of what I discovered by going through and did I go to the wellbeing journals?
The wellbeing journals have just been put up today.
Okay.
So you're looking at it brand new for me. This is the first time I've seen it. So I had a meeting earlier and then I got a message that we just put our wellbeing journals up. I said, oh, fantastic. Thank you.
First look for everybody.
Yes, exactly. So that's just a new section that's come up today. So we just wanted to give people some free resources as well. Just to really help and just so they can have them daily check-ins with themselves, so they can start understanding any sort of patterns that they may have and stuff. So yeah, we're trying to put more free resources out there. As again, mental health support, everyone should have access to it in one way, shape, or form. So I say this is something that we're going to continue as well.
Nice. I'll have to look through these a lot more.
I'll say it's completely free for anyone that wants to download it. It's completely free. Just click on the link and download it.
Okay. I'll look into them a little bit more.
Awesome.
So I'm trying to go to your Get Involved page. What do you got like? What do you guys like doing the most? Like charities, businesses, schools?
Do you know what? And this is going to sound really, really corny and really, really cheesy. But I just like helping people. I don't mind who it is, whether it's charities, whether it's businesses, whether it's schools, whether it's individuals, because at the end of the day, we all suffer and we all struggle at one point or another. It doesn't matter, from what walk of life and from what industry, it doesn't matter. We all struggle. And mental health and suicide, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't at all. So, I mean, that'll be my corny and my cheesy answer is I just like helping people. We're always looking to collaborate with people that sort of align with our vision. And again, it's like with the emotional regulation for fighters. I'm not a fighter. I'll go on the occasional 5K run when I can feel like it, but that's why I'm happy to collaborate with Carl, because he's an ex-fighter. He knows that industry inside and out. So when I can do the framework and we can work together to do everything else that he's got the knowledge on, that's fantastic. I mean, I want to work with someone within the music industry, not to like, I'm gonna plug that, someone in the music industry come and talk to me, because I want to do one that's a lot more intense from the music side of things. I want to be able to do that. So we're always looking to partner with different peoples. We're always looking to partner with different businesses as well. Anyone that wants to volunteer their services to us, by all means. I mean, I'm going to have to shout out Lauren, who does, again, she's done our website. She's doing all our social media at the minute. And with her, she's offered her services for free because she's been through it. She said that she would volunteer, and do you know what? I'm eternally grateful for it, because me and technology do not go hand in hand. Sit me in front of a room and deliver a workshop, that's fine, but put me in front of a computer and I will scratch my head for hours.
I can feel that. I can definitely feel that.
But no, it's anyone that wants to share their story with us, we are going to be putting stories online as well, so people share their experiences, share their stories. We are going to have our share your story section as well. And again, it helps more people realize that they're not alone. If people can go through other people's stories and see what everyone else has gone through, then they're going to realize that they're not alone. And again, that's going to help. And that sort of comes to like all these different ways to try and help people as much as possible.
Sure.
But yeah,
I'll have to get my pen and paper out and write you a story.
By all means, more than happy for you to do that. You might be the first one, because that's only just come up.
Hey,
we only just brought that up.
I like being first.
Well, that's it. But yeah, and I say, volunteer your skills. Anyone that's got skills that feels that they can help, they want to make a difference, we're more than happy.
No, the website's really great. Like I said earlier, there's literally something for everybody, from just from your workshops to, you know, the being able to access the podcast you've been on, the music, the well-being journals, your books, this section that we just went over, you know, your partnerships, your being able to share your story, the amount of workshops that you have is really impressive, because I looked at, I think I just looked at the staff workshops when we first got in touch with each other, and I didn't realize the website was to the fullest extent that it actually is. And there's literally everything.
And again, that's not me. Obviously, I've gave everything to Lauren. And Lauren has completely went in and she's just completely put everything on the website that we've got. Because there was a lot of stuff that we had that wasn't on the website. And again, she's just took everything and she's went full steam ahead with that. And do you know what? It's exactly how I envisioned it. It's got everything now for us.
It's great.
And it's just, it's perfect. It tells exactly who we are now.
She has done a very good job.
She has 100%. Better than what I could do, because honestly, even trying to get the slightest thing add it onto the website, oh god, that would have took me at least 2 weeks.
So if you know somebody that's interested in setting up a workshop, how long does it take to get that facilitated?
Well, it depends on what they're looking for. And again, it depends on, you know, whether it's a charity or whether it's a business. But we try and facilitate it as soon as they want it. So the earliest possible date as well. And we'll look at, you know, whether they want it done in a full day, whether they want it done over a course of 2 days, over a course of a couple of weeks even. We're very, very flexible with that, because especially when it comes to like charities, say for instance, if we're dealing with people that are suicidal, or feeling really, really low, I personally advise not to do a workshop that's the full 8 hours with them. I would split it over a few sessions. So I would do like an 8 hour and split it over like 2 hours a week for 4 weeks.
Sure.
Because there is a lot of reflection and there is a lot of going into yourself, and just, you know, you're unlocking some doors. So I think with some people that are struggling quite a bit, it does obviously it does affect them quite a lot, and it is quite intense. So with that, I'd normally try and split it as much as I can. But with staff, we can do it over a half day, full day, But yeah, we always make sure that we do things as best as possible and how it suits the staff, how it suits the service users. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, the website's great. I'll have to spend some more time while they're reading anyways, but I was going somewhere with that, but I forgot. That happens more times than not.
Yeah. It's the old age. I do it all the time as well. It's fine.
I'm just now getting ready to hit 30, so.
You're just, what age?
30.
You're just hitting 30.
Yeah, 30 next month.
It gets worse.
I can't even really blame it on the old age yet.
Yeah. I can blame it on the old age for me. So just so you know, it gets worse.
Mine's having my hands in too many different things.
I'm the same. It's because I've got ADHD. And I'm just like, I'll have like weird ideas for like the business at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll need to sit up and I'll need to write them down, because by the time I go back to sleep and wake up, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. I have, like, my phone is full of just random notes that I've just written down, and I've got notes in note sections that I'll never even be able to find, but they're there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm old school, so I have a notebook. I will never use notes on my phone or anything like that, because one, I'll forget to save it. I'll type it all out, a couple of paragraphs, type it all out. I'll forget to save it. And then I'll just completely forget about it. So I have to use a physical notebook to write stuff down.
I get it. So what is one thing that in the mental health topic that you would change right now about the current system?
Something that I would change right now?
If you had the ability to change something right now, what would that be?
And I think it comes down to, what I preach about. I think it needs to be more lived experience led, because I believe that will make a huge difference within the mental health. I think lived experience led needs to be at the forefront of mental health support, because I believe you will get a lot more connection. You will get a lot more people opening up. You will get a lot more people realizing that they're not alone. And the progress would be incredible. If you took away everyone that dealt solely in theory and textbooks, and you replaced them with people that had lived experience, that have walked through the fire, and they were helping people with mental health, you would have the results would be so much better. And you would have a lot of people not circling back through the system over and over again. Say they've done their 12 weeks of counselling. They don't feel any better. They're still in the same process. They go back and speak to the GP, and then they'll go back through that system over and over again. But if you had someone that has that lived experience and can sit down with someone and say, do you know what? I understand. I've been where you were. I think that would be so much better, because you would have such a better interaction with that person, and the vicious circle would be broken for the most part.
No, I agree.
So that's the one thing that I would change right away.
The one thing that I've noticed, like, throughout this whole conversation, is just the similarities between here and there and the systems.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar. There's not very many discrepancies between the two. It just the different cultures, obviously, but even that is similar.
Yeah.
and that's one thing that we talked about through text. When I asked, you said that it's very similar. The stigma is still there.
The stigma is still there, yeah, and I think that comes down to, and I think more so with men. It's when you say you're feeling down and stuff like that. It's the masculinity aspect of it. You showing as weak, and I think men are portrayed to be the protectors, to be the ones that don't show the emotions, don't show the feelings, and I think that's something that needs to change. And I think, and it's hard for it to change, because you'll have like certain things on TV and the news and stuff like that, and TV shows and movies, and these men are these guys that don't show any feelings, that don't show any emotions and stuff like that. So it's hard, and especially now with like social media and stuff like that, and it's just like it makes it harder for men to open up and show their feelings.
Absolutely. Have you guys done many workshops within like first responder, law enforcement over there?
Not yet. It is something that we do want to do. Again, with like our art of letting go and stuff like that, and really helping like the staff, and just obviously they'll carry quite a lot of stuff, but with getting into like government services like the NHS and law enforcement and stuff like that, and paramedics and stuff, there's a lot of red tape to get into running workshops for them. There is a lot of red tape to go through, but it is something that we will be pushing for, but I don't think I have the brain capacity to go through that red tape at the minute.
Sure. I mean, that would be hard. I mean, here I think it would be easier to get into those different departments and stuff easier than what I'm sure that you would have to go through.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's a long process. But I say it is something that we do want to do. As I say, our goal is to make this accessible for everyone. So, I mean, even though roads can be long for some areas, I'm still more than happy to go down them roads, because I want to make sure everyone has access to it.
As a facilitator for the Fynix Project, what is a facilitator expected to do? Like, what is their role?
Their role is obviously to, one, deliver our workshop in the way that it should be delivered. Not clinical, not fluffy. Being able to be open and honest about their story, about the struggles that they've been through in the past, being empathetic, being understanding, and understanding what other people have been through. And that's the main thing. There's no qualifications needed. There's just life experience needed, and it's just having that understanding as well, having that empathetic ear, and not being clinical, not being judgmental, not sugarcoating anything at all, and just being straight and having that honest conversation with someone.
So, as a facilitator, like going in to deliver the workshop, you have the physical resources for that person to instruct the workshop.
Yeah. They will have absolutely everything. So okay. we will know prior. Say for instance that we've got a workshop maybe 100 miles away. We'll obviously speak to whether that be a charity or whether that be a business. Say for instance it's a charity, and it's dealing with people that have anxiety, or they have panic attacks and stuff. So I would talk through with obviously the decision maker there. We would go through the workshops, what we offer. We would discuss. I would make my suggestion of what I feel will be best, and obviously ultimately the decision will be theirs. I would go through everything and obviously personalize it for them people. I would then speak to the facilitator. We would go through that workshop piece by piece. And then obviously I would ask them, well, what of your lived experience would you put into this section? What of your lived experience would you put into this section? Are you comfortable talking about that? Are you comfortable talking about that? Just to make sure that, the facilitator's getting their story into it. They're getting their personalized part into it. So it's relevant for them as well. And obviously it's relevant for the people that we're delivering it to. So that's how the system would work.
Nice. I was just wondering how all that worked out and how you constructed the workshop around the organization.
Yeah.
You were doing that for. So you do that for each one of them?
Each one.
You personally?
Me personally, yeah.
That's got to be a lot on one man.
In all fairness, I mean, with all the workshops that you've seen, we've got it. It's all there, and it's just a case of, it's not like you scrap the whole thing and you start again. It's all there, and it's just making sure that we personalize each section for who we're delivering the workshop for. So it's not a huge task. And again, the more that we do, there is going to be similarities. There is going to be, say, for instance, sole survivor PTSD support. We've personalized one for them. Maybe a couple of months down the line, there'll be another charity that deals with PTSD. So there's not going to be much of a change. So the more workshops that we do, there's less that I'm going to need to sit and change big chunks off it, because I'll always keep every one that I've personalized. I'll always keep physical copies as well as computerized copies. So there'll be less and less that'll need to change. So touch wood, it'll be less and less work as we go on.
Sure. Hopefully. Anyways.
Hopefully.
Well, Darryl, is there anything that we talked about that you want to go back and retouch on or add to, or anything that we didn't talk about that you want to touch on?
No, I don't think there's anything. I think we've covered pretty much everything. We've talked about everything. But yeah, no, I say we've talked for quite some time.
Yeah, we're at almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours, yeah. I don't know what the record is for the longest podcast on your show.
I think I've got a 5-hour one there.
Oh, okay. I was trying to break a record, but I don't think I've got another like 3 hours in me.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time, yeah. So is there anything that you want to ask me?
I mean,
that you haven't asked?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've pretty much covered everything that I came here with questions about. I said, I want to read your books and your poetry. So maybe after I get all that done, I'll talk to you a little bit about, because we talked in the beginning about your expectations of facilitators like in the US side of things.
Yeah.
And that, that would be something that I would be interested in. So that's something that, because my big thing is my connection to law enforcement and the fire service. And there's nobody doing anything here to help or be involved. Touching back on, we just do the mental health checklist just to check them off and say we did it, but we're not actually doing anything for it. And that's a big lapse in my state here. So that would be something I would definitely be interested in. So I definitely want to talk to you further about that. Yeah,
I'm more than happy to have a chat about that. I say it's in the US. It's never been something that's sort of been on my mind, because in ways you sort of think it's like a million miles away.
Sure.
But when you all of a sudden you get these connections within the US with someone like yourself that's aligned with what I'm doing, then it sort of it makes that bridge from the UK to the US and makes it look slightly more possible. So I'm more than happy to have that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I definitely want to know more about it and sit down with you and talk on a personal level about it, just because, like I said, I'm connected to it, and I think that could be the bridge over in the start, here for you with the Fynix Project. But also, like I said, I want to read your books and dig more into things on that aspect. But
more than welcome. You have to let me know what you think of them.
Absolutely. And the bad thing is, like, I'm not a big reader, but I want to read your books.
No, it's there has been a few people that have read it, and you know what, they said it's a really, really good. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I haven't gone through and read it fully since it's been done. So I've just I'm not going to read it because it's a bit cringy. I spent all the time writing it. I'm not going to then sit and read it all.
I don't blame you.
So but yeah, you're more than welcome to read them and stuff like that. Let me know what you think. Any honest feedback's always good feedback.
Yeah, my big thing with this is just seeing the different aspects that everybody goes through. Like we've talked the whole time, not everybody's the same, and being able to see the different the different things people go through and how they handle it and how they overcome them is really interesting. And when you add the substance abuse side into it, there becomes so many other aspects of different things, and just different ways people come to sobriety and come out on the other side of mental health. It's so broad and it's so off the wall sometimes that it's super interesting. And because there with me, I've not sat in therapy, I've not done group sessions. I've pretty much come through it just by my own mental strength and just finding those ways through. So, and a lot of people go use the spiritual side of things to go through it, and I'm trying to look into that further as well myself, just to be able to understand what it takes for a person to find those sides. So every side of things is interesting to me at this point, and being able to go through your books and pull out those aspects perks my curiosity.
Yeah, I say if I had an audiobook, I would have done an audiobook for you, but I haven't done it as an audiobook.
Well, I'll suffer through the pages this time, but I expect the next one to be audiobook.
Yep, next one will be audiobook, don't worry.
Yeah, I prefer to be read too, not read. My ADHD can't handle it.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm the same. And it was like that when it came to writing it as well, especially the novel, because it's so big, and I think there's I think it worked out like 68,000 words, or I don't know, it was quite hefty. So that was like I could do like a page or two, and then I would have to walk away and just bang my head against the wall a few times just to have a 2 hour break.
How long did it take you to write it?
All in all, I think it took roughly about a year.
Okay.
To write, which wasn't too bad. And there was times, yes, I had to chain myself to the desk so I didn't move. But yeah, there was times I really had to force myself. But there was also times where I just didn't have the mental capacity to write it. I didn't have that drive to write it, because again, there's quite a lot of reflection in it as well, and you can just write it and then you just feel yourself dipping down, I'm going to have to step away for a couple of days. And
that was my next question was, how did you mentally handle digging that deep into your past to be able to put it out there in a way that is super deep?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing to do was in regards to my mother's ex-boyfriends, trying to groom me. That was the hardest thing that I had to write down. So much so that is the very first chapter of the book, because I wanted that out of the way. I wanted that out of the way. But yeah, there was times that you digging so much into yourself, and it's like opening Pandora's box sometimes, because you're digging and digging and digging, and there's times where I do the writing for a couple of days, and I just feel myself getting sort of like depressed, because you're sort of like you're reliving everything over and over again, and you feel like you're back in that place. So there's times where I have to properly regulate myself. So I'd have to take a couple of days away from it, or sometimes even a week, because I'd need to fill myself back up again. So yeah, there was times it could be hard. There was other times it was fine. I could go and I could write for a week or two, and but yeah, it's the parts of the book and stuff where you just find yourself, you're digging and digging and digging, and then you sort of look up and say, I can't get back out of this now. But yeah, so yeah, you just have to manage that, really.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's just like, it's just like trying to mentally process it to get through it. You have to do that all over again, and the reliving part is what really hinders a lot of people, is because they don't want to relive it. But, in my case, reliving it helps me process it more. Like every time I relive an aspect of it, I process it a little bit more and deeper, and each time it gets a little bit easier.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, when I finally finished it, it was like I felt my whole body sink, because it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Because literally, and I know I can do the workshops and reframe this little bit here, reframe that little bit here, but going through everything from start to finish and taking it all out, and it just felt like a huge relief, taking it all out, and I felt so much lighter afterwards. So I think anyone that's sort of been through it and they're considering writing a book or writing a novel about what they've been through and about their life, I would recommend it to anyone, because it is such a release of emotions once you've finished it, and you do feel so much lighter. And it's hard to explain, but I felt like it helped me talk. It helps me now talk about everything that I've been through, because I don't feel like I'm carrying them burdens anymore.
Sure.
Because I've taken them out and putting them onto page. So yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone.
Awesome. It's
I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I would recommend it to anyone.
Honestly, nothing in the world is easy anymore. And if you think it's easy, you're doing something wrong. You're cutting corners.
Exactly. But yeah, I say the book was good. The second one is in the works. The second novel. I will make sure I do that as an ebook or an audiobook for you.
Much appreciated.
I'm a couple of chapters into it, so it's not based on me this time. So I want to look at mental health from a lot of different aspects, from different protagonists, but also different genres of books. So with this one, this is a female protagonist, so she'd be the main character, but it's also a rom-com. So I know it's different. So I'm a couple of chapters into that, but again, the next book will be a completely different protagonist and a completely different genre of book. So I want to make sure that it's looked at from all different angles as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'll be excited to see what you come up with. Yeah,
so working title is The Breakdown Club. So that's That's what we've got at the minute. I don't know when it'll be done because I've done a couple of chapters, but it's on the back burner at the minute.
Well, it's not like you're not a man of too many things going on.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not even sure where you found the time to write the first couple of chapters.
I don't know. To be fair, that was back end of last year. I think I'm 3 chapters into it.
And you have a new child on the way.
I know. And I'm moving house next month as well.
Yeah. It's going to be a while before this book is done. You got too many things to do.
Yeah, I've got far too many things to do. I said I haven't put a timestamp on when this one's going to be done, but it is in the works, and it is something that I want to keep doing. And like I say, different protagonists, so everyone can relate to it, but different genres as well. So there's always going to be a book for everyone, a different genre. So yeah, that is the plan.
Well, good luck along that journey. It's going to take some hard work and dedication with everything else going on.
Well, you'll get a copy in 2029, maybe.
Well, as long as it's an ebook, I'm good with
it. Yeah, an audiobook. I'll make sure it's done on audiobook.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have anything else, we'll close up shop, and
yeah, I'm more than happy.
At least on this episode, I'm sure we'll have to come back to it as you keep going, because you're adding stuff just as fast as we can get the podcast done. So
it's the ADHD. I'll keep getting these harebrained ideas. There is other stuff in the pipeline that I haven't mentioned that I won't mention because it's very, very early doors. So I won't mention, but I've had a couple of good conversations today with someone, and there is going to be some stuff happening. So maybe next time you'll have a bit more understanding of what that is. I'm gonna have a chat with you offline about it, but I'm not going to disclose any information live.
Don't tell your secret. No secrets. That, and I've kind of introduced the U.S. relationship with you today, and all kinds of stuff. So you got all kinds of ideas.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of ideas. I say my partner, she's on night shift tonight, so I'm going to be sitting up half the night with my head going 100 miles an hour, like this, and I can do this, and yeah. Thanks for that. I'm not getting sleep tonight.
Well, yeah, I've realized one thing during this conversation. Our ADHDs are bad for each other.
Well, maybe good. They maybe end up being productive. You know, they can be productive sometimes.
They're definitely going to add stressors.
Oh yeah, well, I'm used to that by now. Where do you think all the grey hairs in my beard come from?
I found 5 in mine last month.
Don't pull them out. They multiply every time you pluck them out.
That's what I've heard. I think it's I think it's being the girl dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That, I think quite a big chunk of them ones there are because I'm a girl dad. So yeah.
And you got another one.
Well, we don't know whether this is going to be a boy or a girl. I think because of the issues that the baby's causing so far with morning sickness and tiredness, I think this one's definitely going to be a boy.
Well, you need a little bit of testosterone in your life.
Yeah, I think so.
You're outnumbered.
I'm so outnumbered. But when they all get older, if they're all in sync, there's going to be 1 week a month I'm going to live in a hotel.
You're going to need nice Airbnb.
Yeah, that's it. Airbnb for 1 week a month.
Maybe you'll get your best writing done then.
Well, that's very true. I can take a week away each month and get the writing done. Yeah,
there's a positive side to this.
Silver lining. Yeah.
So, well, Darryl, I appreciate you taking the time out and spending it with us today. And we dug through a lot, and there's still probably more we could dig through and sit here about all day. And talk about one thing or another, but we'll save that. We'll save that part for episode 2. Hopefully, we can dig some more stuff up in the future to talk about.
I'm more than happy, but yeah, honestly, thank you very much for having me and allowing me to talk. And yeah, it gets my story out there. And again, the reason I do these podcasts, if one person like hears my story and what I've been through, they realize that 1, they're not alone, and 2, that things do get better.
The beneficial side to the Fynix Project, and obviously you're based in a whole different part of the world than we are, but I see the need of what you're doing here just as much as you do there. Like we spoke, I'm connected to the law enforcement and fire, first responder world in this area right now, and just being able to put the aspect of what you've laid out on the website to cater to everyone. It's it fits all aspects of what I see here that needs done. So being able to have your platform over here, I see a very big beneficial side to that, and I think that it will play a very, very big part in connecting some dots over here, and being able to utilize that. So don't think you're just touching people over there, because this is all things that we need here as well.
And like I say, we can definitely have from a personal standpoint, we can definitely have that conversation, because like I say, if that bridge is there and the US needs the support the same way the UK does, then we can certainly, it's definitely a conversation that we can have.
Well, I look forward to that conversation, and we will wrap it up here, and I'll go ahead and pause or end the recording, and we can.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Quadcast.
Remember, breaking stigma doesn't stop when the episode ends. We're building a movement, and you're a part of it. Stay strong, stay aware, and stay connected.
And this is the Quadcast signing out.